The camera stopped rolling years ago. The Hollywood noise faded into a quiet, private life in Oklahoma. But suddenly, the headlines are back. And this time, they carried a devastating final chapter. Blake Garrett's cause of death has finally been revealed. Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
So for today's mission, we're really charting the extreme contrasts of the entertainment industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're looking closely at the tragic passing of a former child star, really just to understand the heartbreaking medical and systemic context around his death.
Right.
And from there, we're going to examine these massive seismic shifts in Hollywood, from the loss of defining cinematic legends to the mechanics behind, like, massive celebrity weddings and highly complex brand-entangled divorces.
It's a lot to cover. But, 5 months. That is how long Blake Garrett's family had to wait for a piece of paper that confirmed their absolute worst nightmare.
Yeah, that wait is just grueling.
It really is. The mystery is finally over, though. The medical examiner has confirmed exactly how the 33-year-old former child star passed away.
And, to grasp the gravity of this, you really have to look at the arc of his life, right? Not just the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Blake entered the machinery of entertainment at an incredibly young age. I mean, at 8 years old, he was already doing local theater in Texas, playing the magician in Aladdin, working in Grease, taking on Charlie Brown.
Just nonstop.
Exactly. And by age 10, he was navigating the exhausting logistics of an international arena tour for Barney's Colorful World.
Which is wild. That level of exposure at such a young age, it permanently alters a child's baseline for normalcy.
Oh, absolutely.
But his massive breakout, the one that cemented him in millennial nostalgia, was the 2006 family comedy How to Eat Fried Worms.
Such a classic.
Right. He played Plug, the henchman to the school bully, Joe, in a story entirely revolving around tormenting the new kid into eating 10 worms. It's just a specific time capsule of mid-2000s filmmaking.
It really was. It was a highly tactile era of family film, long before everything was just, shot against a green screen.
Yeah.
And you can see that in his performance. That ensemble actually won the 2007 Young Artist Award for Best Young Ensemble Cast because their dynamic felt genuinely grounded in real, chaotic playground energy.
And there is this fantastic anecdote from an interview he did when he was just 13 that highlights that exact energy.
Oh, the bike one.
Yes. He talked about arriving on set to rows of bicycles and getting first pick. But the crucial detail is what happened next.
Right.
The stuntman literally taught this 13-year-old how to execute a 360-degree bike stop on loose gravel.
Which is so cool for a kid.
Totally. So he performed the slide, the gravel physically flew up and struck the camera lens, and the director actually kept that exact shot in the final cut of the movie.
I mean, capturing lightning in a bottle like that alongside professional stuntmen is the ultimate high for a teenager.
Seriously.
But the interesting thing is, instead of chasing that specific adrenaline for the rest of his life, he made a conscious pivot.
Yeah, he really did.
The child star trajectory so often ends in highly publicized burnout, but Blake actually managed to just walk away. He returned to Oklahoma, enrolled in Bethel schools, played football cornerback in safety, and actively sought out the structure of a quiet life.
A quiet life that he successfully rebuilt.
Yeah.
Which is what makes this so hard. And that brings us to the news from February 8th, 2026.
Yeah.
Blake died at the age of 33 while living in a sober living facility in Tulsa. And the thing is, he had been completely sober for 3 years.
3 years of sobriety requires immense, just unyielding daily discipline. It is a monumental achievement.
It really is.
But the medical examiner's report released in July provided the devastating clinical answer to what happened in that facility. The official cause of death was accidental acute fentanyl toxicity.
And the context surrounding this toxicology report is what makes it so incredibly tragic. Blake's mother revealed that just a week prior to his death, he went to the emergency room in excruciating pain.
Right.
The diagnosis was shingles.
And to understand the severity of that, you have to look at the biological mechanism of shingles.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, it's caused by the varicella zoster virus, which is the exact same virus that causes chickenpox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so after you recover from chickenpox as a kid, the virus doesn't just leave your body, it retreats and lies dormant in your nervous system.
That is wild. It just hides there.
Literally hides out for decades. And then, usually triggered by stress or a dip in the immune system, it reactivates.
Okay.
It travels down the nerve pathways to the skin, causing a blistering rash. But because it's actively inflaming the nerves themselves, the pain is neuropathic.
So regular painkillers don't do anything.
Exactly. Traditional over-the-counter painkillers often do absolutely nothing. Patients describe it as this agonizing, relentless burning sensation.
But wait, I struggle to accept that this scenario is just a rigid binary between suffering and relapse.
Right.
Surely, in 2026, the healthcare system has non-narcotic pain protocols for patients in active recovery, right? Are you saying doctors just leave them with zero options when facing severe neuropathic pain?
Well, that is the exact friction point of the modern medical system. There are non-opioid interventions. Doctors can utilize specific anti-seizure medications that calm overactive nerves, or localized lidocaine patches,
Yeah.
or even specialized nerve blocks. But those treatments often require referrals to pain specialists, insurance approvals, and time.
Time that a patient in blinding pain doesn't have.
Exactly. Emergency rooms are designed to stabilize and discharge. If a patient flags themselves as an addict in recovery, ER physicians are understandably hesitant to prescribe potent opioids.
Right, because of the risk.
The unintended consequence, though, is that the patient is often left to just white-knuckle through the worst of the flare-up.
It's like trying to put out a house fire with gasoline. You're trying to cure the immediate crisis, the pain, but the cure of introducing an opioid might burn down the entire foundation of their 3-year sobriety.
That analogy captures the terrifying catch-22 his mother described. Her worst fear was that Blake simply reached a breaking point with the nerve pain and sought out unprescribed relief to self-medicate.
Which is so dangerous now.
Incredibly dangerous. In the current landscape of the illicit drug supply, seeking unregulated relief is statistically lethal. Fentanyl is entirely synthetic, cheap to manufacture, and highly potent.
So it's just in everything.
Exactly. Cartels use it as a universal filler in counterfeit pills. A patient thinks they're buying a standard painkiller, but they're ingesting a microgram-level dose of fentanyl. It turns a moment of desperate pain management into a fatal event.
It's jarring to realize how fragile these private lives are, especially when the entire entertainment industry is built on manufacturing a sense of immortality.
It really is.
And we literally just lost multiple actors who felt entirely invincible to us. But the heartbreak in Hollywood this week didn't stop there. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about a massive pop star wedding that shut down the internet. But first, we need to talk about the sudden loss of 2 absolute cinematic legends and the staggering fortune one of them left behind. Stick around.
The landscape of entertainment is really undergoing a profound generational shift right now. We aren't just analyzing modern tragedies, we're watching the foundational architecture of the films we grew up on slowly dismantle.
Yeah, Hollywood is mourning the sudden loss of Jurassic Park icon Sam Neill and comedy legend Catherine O'Hara.
Such massive losses.
According to the reports coming out this week, Sam Neill passed away suddenly at the age of 78 after a battle with cancer, leaving behind a remarkable screen legacy and a staggering net worth of nearly $20 million.
And when you look at Sam Neill's methodology as an actor, you really start to understand why he built such an enduring, lucrative career.
He was so unique.
He was. He possessed this incredibly rare ability to bridge the gap between gritty, internalized character studies in early Australian and New Zealand cinema and the massive, explosive scale of a Steven Spielberg blockbuster.
Because honestly, most actors get swallowed whole by the special effects in a movie like Jurassic Park.
Precisely. Acting opposite a terrifying animatronic T-Rex, or worse, a tennis ball on a stick that will later become a CGI dinosaur, it usually forces actors into these exaggerated theatrical reactions.
Right, they overcompensate.
But Neil grounded the spectacle. He approached Dr. Alan Grant with the same understated, everyman gravitas he used in small indie dramas.
Yeah.
He made the extraordinary feel entirely plausible because his reactions were so deeply human and restrained.
He wasn't the only icon we lost, though. We also saw the passing of 71-year-old Catherine O'Hara, alongside Dawson's Creek actor James Vanderbeek, who passed away in February.
Yeah.
But looking specifically at Catherine O'Hara, her impact on the actual mechanics of modern comedy is profound.
Her background fundamentally shaped her output. Coming out of the Second City Television or SCTV improvisational sketch comedy scene, she learned to construct characters from the ground up.
She didn't just read lines off a page.
Never. She wrote the neuroses, the vanities, and the deeply hidden insecurities of the women she played before she ever stepped on stage.
Which is exactly why a character like Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek works so well.
Exactly.
On paper, a washed-up soap star with an unidentifiable accent and a ridiculous wig collection should be a flat cartoon character.
But O'Hara engineered a specific archetype.
Yeah.
The lovable narcissist. She played extreme vanity with this fierce, vulnerable sincerity.
Yes.
You laughed at her absurdity, but you also believed that she fiercely loved her family, even if she couldn't remember her daughter's middle name.
Right.
That ability to layer deep humanity underneath ridiculous comedic premises influenced an entire generation of comedic actors who followed her.
When an actor of that caliber passes away, it feels like losing a cultural anchor. If you appreciate how we unpack these Hollywood stories and the mechanics behind the fame, make sure you're subscribed. We've got more wild shifts in the pop culture landscape ahead.
Because while the industry processes these monumental losses, the machinery of celebrity just continues to churn. The cycle of public affection, massive spectacles, and highly scrutinized personal lives never actually pauses.
And speaking of wild twists, that's not even the most shocking part of this week's news. Wait till you hear which massive pop star just shut down the internet with a 1,000-guest wedding. You won't want to miss this.
Yeah, so to pivot to the continuation of life and love in the spotlight, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce finally tied the knot.
Oh my gosh, finally.
And this was an event of unprecedented scale. 1,000 guests.
1,000. That is insane.
1,000. Jason Kelce's 4 daughters served as the Flower Girls, which injected a bit of grounded family charm into what was otherwise a monumental production.
Yeah, sports analyst Pat McAfee commented that the wedding beautifully showcased their love.
But you know, the word showcase does a lot of heavy lifting there.
What do you mean?
Well, when you are analyzing a 1,000-person celebrity wedding, you are no longer just talking about a romantic ceremony. You are looking at the logistics of a geopolitical summit.
I mean, I have to imagine the security protocols alone are mind-bending.
They are completely staggering. To host 1,000 guests, many of whom are likely A-list celebrities, billionaires, and political figures, requires concentric rings of security, comprehensive non-disclosure agreements for hundreds of vendors, and coordinated airspace restrictions.
Why?
From a public relations standpoint, weaponizing your visibility at this scale is a deliberate strategy. They are embracing the fact that their relationship is a cornerstone of current pop culture and orchestrating an event that feeds that exact narrative machine.
It is a controlled explosion designed perfectly for a global audience. But to pivot to the darker side of highly publicized relationships, the engine rooms of these marriages don't always survive the pressure.
Yeah, sadly.
The news broke this week that comedy power couple Tom Segura and Christina P. are separating after 18 years of marriage.
18 years in the comedy world is a remarkable tenure, but the mechanics of the split are vastly more complicated than a standard Hollywood divorce.
Because of all their business ties, right?
Right. They didn't just share a home and children. They built an entire corporate empire together. Their podcast network, YMH Studios, their intertwined touring schedules, their shared merchandising, their entire brand identity is predicated on their dynamic as a married couple.
When a comedy empire is built on the banter of a marriage, how do you even legally and creatively separate that entity without alienating the audience that bought into the relationship in the first place?
You are essentially executing a highly delicate corporate dissolution while simultaneously navigating deep personal grief in front of millions of subscribers.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It really is. The audience feels a parasocial ownership over their relationship because they have listened to them discuss the intimate details of their lives for hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Disentangling the brand from the marriage is a logistical and emotional minefield.
You know, Hollywood love is like a fireworks display. Sometimes you get this massive, spectacular show that lights up the whole sky for everyone to see, like Taylor and Travis.
Yeah.
And other times, a slow burn sparkler you thought would last forever just quietly fizzles out and you have to dismantle the pieces in the dark.
That is a brilliant way to frame it. The public consumes the spectacle, but they rarely see the meticulous, painful dismantling of the infrastructure. However, the news cycle did offer us a fascinating contrast in the romance department this week.
We did get a wedding that was significantly more understated, though definitely not without its own talking points. The Vampire Diaries star Paul Wesley married 26-year-old model Natalie Kuckenberg.
Right.
There is a 17-year age gap. He's 43, but they opted for a very scenic, quiet ceremony under the palm trees.
And the detail that really stands out in the reports is not the venue or the guest list, but the wardrobe. The bride wore a dress that cost $1,080.
For a celebrity wedding, a $1,000 dress is almost chaotic in its normalcy.
It really is.
In an ecosystem where a billionaire pop star is throwing a gala for 1,000 people, a television heartthrob opting for a relatively budget-friendly, off-the-rack dress for his bride creates severe economic whiplash.
It just proves that the monolithic Hollywood experience does not actually exist. The spectrum ranges from billions of dollars in orchestrated PR events to surprisingly grounded, quiet moments that just mimic everyday life.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next in the world of pop culture. We are constantly tracking these shifts.
Because the contrast we've covered today is genuinely staggering. We've moved from a tragic, quiet struggle with addiction and neuropathic pain in a Tulsa facility to the legacy of a man who brought dinosaurs to life, all the way to a wedding that required the logistical planning of a small city.
It really makes you wonder, how much of what these stars go through behind closed doors, whether it's physical agony or the slow deterioration of a two-decade marriage, is completely hidden by the characters they play on screen or the flawless personas they project on a red carpet.
Yeah.
The gap between the public image and the private reality seems wider than ever.
The ultimate illusion of fame is accessibility. We consume their art. We know their net worth. We even know who their flower girls are. But the actual mechanics of their pain, their daily struggles, and their private grief, that all remain safely hidden in the dark.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.